Okay. Enough tomfoolery. We got a big piece of news today. We need to talk about it. And it starts with this guy. Hey-oh. Ladies and gentlemen, Elon Musk is melting down and going through what I would consider one of the biggest midlife crises any human being has ever experienced. And as of today, it has been confirmed that he is doing everything he can legally do to get out of buying Twitter. How did we get here? Where is it going? Let's find out today. Let's look into the twisted mind of Elon Musk and just ask what the hell's been going on the past couple months. And it started, again, 3 months ago with this. This is a tweet that seems like all good things. Everything was going up. Elon Musk, yes! Free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and Twitter is the digital town square where matters vital to the future of humanity are debated. I also want to make Twitter better than ever, making the algorithms open source to increase trust, defeating the spam bots. Twitter has tremendous potential. I look forward to working with the company and the community of users to unlock it. This was April 25th, the day that he signed a legally binding agreement to purchase Twitter at $54.20 a share. Let's check Twitter stock real quick. About $47, $48, okay? So he was paying about a $6 premium per share. And he acquired all this money through debt. He took out a bunch of, he secured financing from a bunch of different loans that had different interest rates and different interest payments. And it was going to be about a $2 billion a year interest payment secured against his Tesla stock. And then about a month later, no, less than a month later, about a week later, markets started to realize that he was, he was not exhibiting the telltale signs of a person about to go through with a deal. In fact, he was doing the opposite. He was tweeting shit emojis at the current CEO who he was buying the company from, a $250,000 hush payment to a SpaceX flight attendant, and purchasing her a horse in exchange for an erotic massage on his jet. A lot of things that he was doing before he even owned the company. And so people started to think, wait a minute, let's look at the numbers here. It doesn't make a lot of sense. All this stuff is pretty risky. And at the same time, the big elephant in the room started happening. All of these loans he was taking out were guaranteed by his Twitter stock, which at the time of the acquisition was a little bit over $1,000 a share. This is this is Tesla stock. Tesla stock, about $1,000 a share. But immediately after announcing this acquisition, the entire tech market started to go down, and including, and especially not limited to, Tesla, which dropped about 40% of its value so far this year. And so all of those loans started to be less secure. And again, if they drop a certain amount of value, he would have to sell large chunks of Tesla stock to continue to guarantee them with cash, which would mean that Tesla stock would keep dropping even more. As this all started happening, it became very clear that he didn't really want all the hassle of running Twitter. So he started to do a bit of a disinformation campaign with his lawyers to say that he was so shocked, insanely shocked at the number of bots that were at Twitter, that it was a material breach of the agreement that he had already signed and that he could just walk away. And as we remember, he was pretty aware when he said this. There was no misunderstanding, especially because he openly waived his right to any deeper diligence before signing a written contract agreement that guaranteed that he would purchase Twitter at $54.20 a share. The reaction from Twitter's board has been pretty swift. The Twitter board is committed to closing the transaction on the price and terms agreed upon with Mr. Musk and plans to pursue legal action to enforce the merger agreement. Now, a couple things floating around. There is a portion of the contract which stipulates that there is a $1 billion breakup fee. That if for whatever reason the deal doesn't happen, if whatever act of God stops the deal, Elon Musk owes Twitter $1 billion. But the language of that $1 billion breakup fee is actually more stringent than it appears. It does not allow him to just choose to call it off and pay the billion. He actually has no legal way just to say no. He can't just say no. Now, all in the same time all this has been happening, it hasn't been a pretty good PR moment for Mr. Musk. A lot more has been happening to Mr. Musk. Now, I mentioned the hush payment to a SpaceX employee, flight attendant, but he also secretly had sex and fathered 2 twin children with one of his employees at Neuralink. This just came out. This came out yesterday. It's funny because yesterday he also began a really rampant speech on Twitter about how big the underpopulation problem is. So I really appreciate Mr. Musk stepping up and starting to shoot out babies to try and turn this population problem back. And what was even better than that is that immediately following this this leak, he announced that he will significantly boost childcare benefits at his companies. And I'd like to imagine sort of what this childcare program looks like. So I went into Photoshop and just messed around. I think this is what I estimate his childcare program looks like. Because guess what? Elon Musk just hit the big 10 count, baby! 10 children! Congratulations. If you are at one of Elon's companies and you hit the big 10, you unlock childcare benefits. He also got into a bit of a scuffle about, there were, again, every major tech company, especially ones that have had their stock drop 40, 50%, is thinking about layoffs or headcount cuts. Netflix has had layoffs, Peloton has had layoffs, but Elon Musk had a different strategy of going about layoffs. Basically, he just tried to force them into quitting by openly announcing in an all-hands memo that anyone that wishes to do remote work must be in the office for 40 hours a week or depart Tesla. Basically trying to cut headcount without calling it a layoff or a firing. Got really, really passionate about the idea that anyone working remotely is stealing from the company. I think he said specifically they should pretend to work somewhere else, which is interesting because it seems like a lot of the world are moving towards more remote-friendly options in a post-COVID world, which is odd because as a man who is running 4 different companies, he absolutely does not follow this rule. He absolutely actually splits his time amongst a bunch of different companies. Part of his time on Twitter attempting to buy it and failing. The only time I think he spends at companies like Neuralink is fathering children with the executives there. Twitter is in a bad place because of this Elon Musk situation and has to fight tooth and nail to get this contract to be honored to the letter. And look at it from their perspective, okay? So flashback 4 months, not 3, but 4. A month before Elon Musk acquired Twitter. Basically, Elon Musk started buying up shares of Twitter because he's a very avid shitposter on there and he has a lot of money. And he got to about 9% of the company. And then the board of Twitter started asking like, okay, what's going on? Why do you keep buying more shares? What is your intentions here? And he wouldn't say. He was being kind of coy. All right. And so they said, how about we let you buy up to 15% and you become a member of the board, but we cap it there. We cap it at 15%. You're a co-owner of the company. Your voice is weighed in. Let's go. And he said yes. He agreed to that deal. And then right before that deal was set to go into motion, he backed out. He backed out at the last second, kind of middle fingered him, GameCube middle fingers, and then began to say that he was going to basically acquire the rest of the company for $45 billion. And once he did that, they could not say no. I mean, legally, they would get sued by their own shareholders, myself included. And so they did. The problem is they didn't know that Elon Musk doesn't believe that a signed deal means all that much. And so they basically, they took the deal. They operated as if they were about to be sold to Elon Musk. And that requires a lot of changes in the short term. Number one, they laid off a lot of people. So they were all imagining a world where Elon Musk was going to follow through on his promise. So they froze hiring, people started leaving, and they did some firings. So the company has downsized itself in anticipation of being taken over. They also turned down other acquisition offers, like they closed the door. One of the agreements of the deal that Elon signed, that Twitter has held up, is that they're not allowed to look around to anyone else. So today, I mean, even with the deal being considered a go until today, the stock has been worth absolutely way less, $36, you know? And again, the market's closed by the time that this announcement from Elon came. But as you can see, in after hours trading, Twitter stock has fallen off a cliff. And I think on Monday, when markets open again, this thing's going to crater. If for whatever reason the court goes, you know what, Elon's right, there's too many bots, the contract is null and void, Twitter as a company is fucked. Just a huge song and dance back and forth with Elon Musk that has made them both look bad. Nobody else wants to pick him up now. And yeah, they're just basically headed for trouble. So he kind of fucked himself. Yeah, I mean, he's been incredibly stupid. And that's not the only thing going on, dude. I mean, again, this is the whole theme of what I'm talking about today is that the last 3 months have been absolutely awful for Elon Musk. For example, his daughter, his 18-year-old daughter, has legally changed her name to confirm her gender identity and removed Musk from her last name and said, I don't want to live with or be related to my biological father in any way, shape, or form. I don't know. By the way, every single one of these things, so like they all coincide really well with an Elon Musk tweet, like about how like anti-trans rights tweets come from him right around this moment. Underpopulation tweets came out right when he was fathering secret children. His political stances all seem to be based on things coming from his own personal life that he is trying to shift his belief system to accommodate. But what I do know is that there's two big outcomes coming forward for this Twitter thing. And that's one is that the letter of the law is upheld and he's required to buy it at the price he agreed to. In which case, it will be extremely bad for Elon. The second option is that they force him to pay the $1 billion breakup fee. That's not, he can afford it, not terrible. Decent for Twitter because they lose $200 million a year, so a free $1 billion cash can help. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's a quick cash infusion. It's probably about as much as they make from ads. And then the third option is that the courts uphold Elon's side of the story. And they basically say that even though you waived due diligence, and have evidence that you knew about any bots, we're going to say you're right. And we're going to say the bots were too high and you don't have to buy this and you have to pay the breakup fee. In which case, Twitter is absolutely fucked. Twitter is absolutely fucked. The stock's going to absolutely crater. People have already left. They're going to have tough time retaining talent. So those are the three outcomes. I don't know which way it'll go. I honestly don't. Or fourth option, let me present a fourth option here. What if we all pitch in and I purchase Twitter on the dip? I'll do a handshake deal with Elon when it craters on Monday. We'll buy it up on the cheap. And yeah, then what I would do is make the I would make the platform even better for crypto shills. Okay, because right now it's not enough. Like some sort of bot. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, what we'll do is we'll up the bots. Instead of trying to fight the bots, losing battle, I'm going to up the bots. So, in fact, we'll get rid of all friends and stupid celebrities and dumb normie tweets on Twitter. Basically, you log on, you tweet whatever the fuck you want, and then a bunch of bots give you dopamine. And then in all the replies, we'll have fake bot friends advertised to you. So it'll be like a top reply from like Joe Friendly, and he's like, hey, love that tweet, super funny. By the way, been enjoying Burger King lately. So that's that. That's my coverage on that.